Hi, my little babies. Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. What the Smut Book Review? Vogue. Okay, hi. Hi. Thank you for joining me for another episode. My hair and makeup look like trash. It's fine. I'm used to it. We're gonna let it go. In today's video, we will be reviewing this book. It is called Master of Salt and Bones by Keri Lake. I do not have the book here with me. It's on order. It hasn't come yet. Anyway, I'm cranking it out because I don't have time to wait. Amazon, you taking too long, okay? So we're just gonna get into it because whatever, right? Now, this book is free to read with KU. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, the current price is $4.99. If you want the lovely trade paperback, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time, it's a chunky boy, okay? This book allegedly has 550 pages. That's a fat ass book. That book got an ass, okay? You can currently get the paperback for $19.99. That, in my opinion, is on the higher end of trade paperback cost. I have seen other books that are similar in price in the $18, $19 range, but the majority of trade paperbacks are usually around 15 bucks. So this is definitely on the higher end. Now, you can get, allegedly, you can get this book in hardcover for $35. $35 for an Amazon printed hardcover. Now keep in mind, I don't know if it's through Amazon or third party, but for a printed hardcover through Amazon, $35 is ridiculous for a price. That's ridiculous for a book. For an indie author book, $35. So I don't think Keri set that price, but there it is, okay? If you want hardcover, which I know a lot of my babies love hardcover, so there you go. It is available if you're willing to pay that astronomical $35. This book is also available in audio. I listened to the audio for this book. The narrators for this book are Stephanie Kay and Ryan West. Every time I hear Ryan West, I automatically want to think Shane East. West and East. Two completely different people. Don't get it twisted. Both narrators were very good. I enjoyed the narration for the book. Okay? Now, we're going to take it old school. I feel like there's a fucking hair on my face. We're going to take it old school, and we're going to read the blurb from a printed piece of paper like I used to do. Way back in the day. If you followed me or if you were subscribed to my channel from the beginning, you will know that I used to print out all of the deets on a piece of paper along with the blurb and my rating, and I would read that. I would reference that. Now I have my reading journal, so I write down the details in there. But for a book I don't physically have in front of me, I gotta print out the blurb because I can't just read it from the back of the book because I don't have the book. Right? Okay, so the blurb for this says, "Meet the Devil of Blackthorn Manor. When I was a little girl, I dreamed a handsome knight would come and rescue me from my wretched mother. He'd ride up on his white steed and break the curse I've been fated to carry since the day I was born. Funny how things changed over time. How the fairy tale twisted into something far more crooked, darker than I ever imagined. In reality, my knight is scarred and broken, living alone in a castle of bones that overlooks the sea. He isn't searching for me. He never was. Lucian Blackthorn is as cursed as I am and equally shunned by the locals, the fishers of men." The fishers of men? I feel like that's... When I say that, it sounds weird. "The fishers of men who believe him to be the devil in the flesh. Perhaps he is, with the way his amber eyes draw me in, ignite me like an infernal blaze. And the sins he whispers in my ear are as wickedly intoxicating as the man himself. Yet his touch is heaven, and his will is my weakness. He calls us forbidden, an unsalvageable tragedy with no happy end. Maybe we are. But in this story, he's the one who needs saving. Master of Salt and Bones is a dark, modern, gothic, contemporary standalone romance. Wow, that's a mouthful. Okay. Dark, modern, gothic, contemporary. Standalone romance. Okay. All right. Now, there's a gnat in here. I see it flying around. I wonder if that's what was itching my face. Okay. The two main characters for this book are Lucian and Isadora. For the majority of the book, they refer to her as Isa, which I quite liked. It's a very unusual name, and I liked even the abbreviation of like just cutting Isa. I liked that a lot. Now, in the narration of the audiobook, I can't remember where this is set, but it's got to be someplace like, I don't know, Massachusetts or some New England state or like Wisconsin, or I can't remember, but their accents are very Boston-ish. Does that make sense? Like for example, her aunt has a very hard, like Boston accent, like a very hard, like you would imagine like a baseball fan. You know how they talk? I think you know what I mean. Now, here's what I wrote down for the individual characteristics for each character. For Amelia, I wrote musical prodigy, can play by ear. She cannot read music. She never could. She can hear a song played once, and in her mind, she can pick up and recognize the notes of the music and basically regurgitate it for you on the piano. That's the type of prodigy that she is. I wrote Mama Ho and Junkie. I'm sorry to all my friends out there who are recovering like from addiction, because that's a very serious subject. But that's what I wrote for her mom, because her mom was real fucked up. Smart Mouth. Love us a good sassy heroine. Sexually assaulted in high school. Okay. Now, for Lucian, I wrote, he's nicknamed the Devil of Bone Salt. Ex-wife Amelia. Son missing? Question mark. His son is not missing. His son died. Family rumored to be cursed. Abusive father. In parentheses, I wrote dead. Good. Mother with mental issues. Okay. Now, I wrote, Dear God. So many notes for this book, which is not surprising considering that it's 550 pages of book. But we're going to try and speed read because there was a lot in this book. Like there was a lot going on. All right. Prologue 15 years ago. Lucian locked up in back alley hospital. Mother says he's sick. Present day. Isadora going to work for Lucian Blackthorn as caregiver for ailing mother. Lives in Blackthorn Manor, also known as Bone Salt. That's the nickname that the fisherman of the village or the town where they live has nicknamed the castle where he lives. He lives in a legit castle, like a Varanmore type castle. Okay. Giant mansion on Seaside Cliff by Tempest Cove. That's the name of the town. Arrives, and then in parentheses I put Isadora, because now I'm talking about her. And met by Rand, Lucian's right hand. Shows her around. She meets the mother. What a bitch. She was a bitch. Okay. And then in parentheses I wrote also snob. Creepy doll collection. She has a very creepy doll. She has like a sitting room with like cases and cases of dolls. Porcelain dolls. I have porcelain dolls. I can see how people would find some of them very creepy. Okay. Let's see. Mostly physically fine, but mentally not all there. Thinks Lucian's wife, and then in parentheses I put Amelia, and son, Rourke, still alive. Issa doesn't know truth of son. In parentheses I wrote dead/missing, ? Or how Amelia died. Runs into nurse Nell and housekeeper Julia. Late at night runs into Lucian for first time after being chased by giant dog Samson. Flashback to Lucian's childhood shows an abusive father and an affair with an older woman, a French maid by the name of Solange. Present day, Issa freaked out by sounds in house. She gets to know employees. Lucian meets with men from secret society he's part of. Took his father's place. Told his ex-father-in-law is harassing members about entry into society. Issa runs into him in the library. He sees her self-harm scars because Laura buys her new clothes for dresses. Flashback shows Lucian seeing Solange fucking his father, then coming into his room to seduce him with blade. Later finds her body in the cave. They make him think he's crazy, put him in facility with Nazi doctor, leader of the cult. Okay. I'm gonna explain all this when I'm done. It's a lot. Okay. Issa goes home for weekend. Finds mom at house. She was previously living with her aunt. Her aunt has taken care of her because her mother is a junkie and literally left her hanging on so many different occasions that the aunt finally had to take over her care. So she goes back to visit her aunt on the weekend and finds her mom at the house. Leaves. Comes back to find aunt beaten and mom taken by local mob boss. Goes back to Blackthorn. Tries to steal expensive doll to get money. Gets caught. Julia tells her to ask Lucian about money. He denies her. Oh no. Julia tells her to ask Lucian about secret society to get the money. He denies her. Says he won't help her, but later kills mob boss. Her mom is returned. Asks her to play piano at masquerade. She does. They have tryst on balcony. Gets interrupted by Laura out of bed, naked in the middle of the party. Issa flips out on Nell, who's Laura's nurse. Laura is his mom. Nell throws Tryst back in her face. Saw them. So she was peeping. She was peeping Tom. Or in this case, peeping Tomalina? Whatever the female version is of that. Says Lucian is murderer and tells rumor of him killing Rourke. She goes to his office, confronts him about Rourke. He shows her drawer of his playthings. She's sorry, but he goes into rage, makes her leave. But she comes back and sees him having hallucination of Solange. They have sex. He has nightmare flashback of how Rourke died. Found him on floor in his room surrounded by Amelia's Ativan. He dies of overdose. Lucian goes off the rails, drives his motorcycle too fast and gets into accident. That's how he got scars on his face and body. Present day, they spend the weekend together. He goes into town with her for lunch and bar where Aunt works. Gets call from Rand that Dr. Voigt wants him to come to Institute in Vermont for talk. Rand calls everyone into office. Fires Nell for feeding info about Lucian and mother to a PI. Nell later found dead of heroin OD in a motel room. Flashback of Lucian when Amelia killed herself. Jumped from his balcony. Issa's suspicious about Nell's death, especially after Julia comes in and tells her how group tortures people for money. She decides to go visit Aunt for info. Makayo, who is Lucian's like driver / bodyguard. He's like a big Hawaiian dude. Makayo says Lucian told him she isn't allowed to stay the weekend. PI Mr. Goodman finds her at bar. Tries to barter info on Lucian for info on who her father is. Wants her mom's sophomore yearbook. She sneaks out back to go home and find it. Gets attacked by Aiden and Brady on way back. Makayo finds her and saves her. Okay. So Aiden and Brady are the two of the guys that assaulted her in high school. That like raped her, essentially. She gets accosted by them on the walk back to the bar to give this PI the yearbook he's looking for. And she loses the yearbook, but she gets saved by Makayo, who was essentially following her via a tracker. Okay. Now, Makayo finds her and saves her. Tracker in her bracelet. What is with these men and trackers? Like the last couple books I've read have had the men in some way drugging the woman and or putting some kind of tracking device on her, in her or on her. Okay. Where is she? She goes back and accuses Lucian of murder. He admits it. She tells him to let her leave. He does. Aunt calls. Mom died of OD. Aunt reveals catalyst that brought her mom back to island. She was being molested by babysitter's husband. Killed him? ? So Issa has like a lot of repressed memories from her childhood. When Issa's mother found out she was pregnant, she knew that the father would not want anything to do with her, and he wanted her to abort the baby. Instead, she ran from the island and raised Issa somewhere else. Then she found out that Issa was being sexually abused by the babysitter's husband. And that's what caused her to come back to the island and seek refuge there. But Issa, she walked in on the man's throat being slit and Issa covered in blood and there being like a knife there. So clearly Issa is the one that cut him up. She was only a little girl. And so she's repressed all of this. All these memories are repressed. She doesn't remember shit. But that comes out towards the end of the book. PI finds her and gives her papers that show Boyd is her father. Boyd is the father of Lucian's ex-wife, Amelia, the one that killed herself. So, it's such a small world. Was teacher at her mom's school, high school. Boyd is the mayor, by the way. He was the mayor. Boyd finds her at beach, shoots her in ankle, takes her. PI comes and to try and intervene and gets killed. And then I wrote, had her bracelet though. Lucian follows it and finds Boyd at cabin in woods. Makayo saves them. Fucking love Makayo. He was like the savior of the entire fucking book. Boyd has... What? Boyd had something on Lucian. I can't remember. I can't even read my own fucking handwriting. Boyd has gun on Lucian? Is that what I said? I don't know. Sneaks them out as Lucian deals with 3 men from society. So 3 men come to the cabin in the woods looking for Lucian. Lucian takes her back to his home, demands to know what happened years ago at party. She went back after attack and stabbed Brady in his junk. Which rightfully he deserved. So, yeah. He asks her to stay, admits love for her, goes to get her food, wakes up to find Laura there, not disabled, tells her that she's been watching her sleep for weeks, that her husband forced Amelia to have sex right after Lucian, Baby was Griffin's. Griffin is Lucian's father. So essentially, Lucian's father raped Amelia and got her pregnant directly after she had sex with Lucian for the first time. The baby, Rourke, that Lucian was so attached to is actually his brother. It was his dad's kid. Okay. When she found out, she killed Rourke, his mother, Laura. Amelia was pregnant again with Griffin's second child when she killed herself. Lucian overhears, admits to him Solange was real. So in the beginning, it makes it seem as if this Solange person, the French maid, that Lucian had his first real sexual encounter with, was a real person. But then through the middle of the book, it makes it seem as if she's a hallucination. And that's what they make him believe. After he finds Solange dead in the cave, he runs back for help and is told there is no Solange. She never existed. You're sick. There's something wrong with your brain. And they take him to this Nazi doctor who's the head of this secret society that his father was a part of, that studies genetics in regards to how it affects psychotic behavior and how you could be born as a psychopath versus being raised in an environment that causes you to be a psychopath. Does that make sense? So this doctor is obsessed with generational sociopathy. So they take him to that doctor who performs umpteen number of really terrible experiments on him. And essentially he cracks and then puts himself back together. And then he has to basically fake it till you make it to get out and just be free of this testing and stuff. Now he has inherited his father's position within the society. He does not participate in any of the things they do, but he does fund them with money because he literally can't get out of it. He's stuck. So anyway. Laura admits to killing Solange. That she poisoned Griffin, her husband, and Lucian's father. Holds knife to Issa's throat. Plans to kill her. Issa knocks knife away. Next thing you know, she's locked up in institute. Laura's locked up in institute. Claims she tried to kill herself. Plans to let doctor treat her. Lucian buys Issa the bookstore in town. That's literally all I wrote. I mean but that's a lot. Yeah. So essentially the mother gets her comeuppance after admitting that she was essentially behind every terrible thing that ever happened to her son. And she gets her comeuppance by Lucian turning her over to the Nazi doctor for study because clearly she is a psycho. And so she gets locked up in the institute while Lucian lives his life with Issa in their castle that is literally built on the bones of his ancestors. There's a crypt under the house. Terrifying. Okay. But yeah, so that's essentially the gist of the book. All 550 pages of it. For the rating for the book, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I liked it. I did enjoy it. But it was very long. And so if you are not a person who if you find it difficult to become invested in extremely thick books, like if you couldn't read The Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline duet, or if you couldn't read the words by Ashley Jade, this book will not be for you. It is humongous. There's a lot going on. If you don't mind that, and you like dark romance, and you like elements of suspense, and you want plot twists, and you want all of that, like, this will be your jam. You will like it. Again, I could recommend the audio. I thought it was decently done. Would I have enjoyed the book more if I'd read it myself? Maybe. I probably would have, honestly. But overall, the book was very good, and I did enjoy it. So I would recommend it to other people. And yeah, I think that's it. If you like this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I am super active on Instagram. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. If you are interested in purchasing some of my bookish related merch, which as you can see, I'm wearing my my alpha catchphrase shirts. I'm wearing my alpha catchphrases shirt, which has you take me so well. When I wear this shirt out in public, I get so many rank looks from people because I'm walking around with a shirt that literally says, "Good girl, you take me so well." Who do you belong to? And what is the other one? Made for me, which is another phrase that I fucking love. Anytime a guy in a book says, "You're made for me," or some version of that, I'm in love with you. Immediately, I'm in love with you. So this shirt features all of those catchphrases. And then at the bottom it says, ... said all my book boyfriends. If you're interested in purchasing this shirt or any of my merch, I will link it down in the description box below. And I'll put a little link here on the screen for you guys to see. And I think that's it. I thank you so much for joining me for another episode and sticking with me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. It is always nice to meet you, says the man behind the counter. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Candace is losing her mind. Candace's makeup looks like shit. Every episode we're going to do a new theme. In this episode, Candace's makeup and hair looks like shit. But that's okay, because I'm used to it. I will end your life if you start that shit with me today. Okay? Thanks. All right. Let's get started, shall we? So we're just gonna... Ay, Dios mío. I just realized I don't have the blurb for this book. Hold please. Hold please, I'll be right back. Thanks. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I'm back. You can blame it all on me because I'm not organized. I suck. Anyway. All right, now, the narrators for this book are how the fairy tale twisted into something far more crooked, dark. Candace, learn to speak properly. He calls us forbidden, an unsalvageable. Asks her to pay to that was kind of creepy. Creepy. Okay. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around. I do. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell you lies. I do. I haven't done this in so long. I'm finished. Terry, you motherfucker. in the trash. Okay. I'll see you guys later. I love you so much. Bye. I gotta go. Bye.